Hi, Eva Nichols here. I just was going to paint this little landscape that I sketched out on my watercolor paper that is made of cellulose. It's not a cotton paper. I already did a review on it. You can go back. I'll put the link below if you want to see my little evaluation of this paper. I did a pen sketch on it with my Micron pen, and I used my homemade masking fluid that I learned this from a wonderful Canadian artist. Her name is Melinda Wild, and she teaches over on Skillshare, where I also teach. She has a little video where she gives all sorts of great watercolor tips, and one of them was that you could make your own masking fluid by using fabric and craft glue called Speed Sew, and you mix it up with water, about half and half, depending on how thick you want it, how thin you want it, and it dries, as you can see, kind of translucent. And if you like to have a little bit of color in your masking fluid so you can see where it is, and I usually like that, and then you can put a little bit of a non-staining color in. So I would suggest either a tiny bit of cobalt blue or burnt sienna. But I haven't done that yet. So I put some masking fluid in the trunks here, and then I took some plastic wrap and scrunched it up. Show you here. Scrunched it up and dipped it in the masking fluid, and then just did kind of like that for a little bit of foliage. I want to make it a fall scene. That's my goal. So let's and then I'm gonna test out my palette that I just put together for an upcoming workshop I'm taking with Sterling Edwards, and so I also will link to the YouTube video I made of how I prepare for a workshop and how I set this up. So that's all in a couple of other videos that you can look up later. So I got my water, and I'm going to wet everything. I'm just going to use my good old 30 round Mimic Squirrel brush for that. And I am going to just put water on the sky part, and since I masked out here, I'm going to save some whites for the foliage. And since this is the cheapo paper on this block, it's going to be very sketchy style because it's not suitable for other things than real sketchy. And it doesn't do well with too many glazes and things like that. So it's just get the color on and move on. That's kind of, and this is just a little sketch I'm going to use as, just work out some compositional and color issues and stuff, and then hopefully I think I'll make it into a bigger painting, and then I'll paint it on Arch's watercolor paper, cold pressed, my usual paper. And I also thought maybe I'll use this sketch for the workshop I'm taking with Sterling Edwards. So that could be good. So okay, so there's the sky. I think I might take a little bit of darker blue. Took a little bit of the French Ultramarine, and then that royal blue, which is pigment PB60, which is I think the same as Indanthrene blue. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on just kind of like the top here, because I want the sky a little bit darker there. So that's good. And let's rinse that out. And it's pooling up because I put the masking fluid on, and I'm very curious to see how this masking fluid is going to if I'm going to get any issues. I'm just going to dab where it kind of pulls up. If I'm going to get any issues removing the masking fluid from this paper, I have no idea. So just out on a limb, hoping for the best. All right, so that was that, and then I'm just going to move along and get the color into the lake here. This is supposed to be Donner Lake, where I live. In Truckee, California, we have a beautiful lake. It's called Donner Lake, and it's by Lake Tahoe. So I don't live on Lake Tahoe. I live in Truckee, which is a wonderful little town up in the high Sierras. I love living here. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Great artist community, great everything. So I'm going to put just some of the same colors into the lake here, and so that's, you know, cobalt, some of that royal blue. And when I paint water, I always try to make sure that I get my strokes kind of horizontal. So that's why I have it on the side. It's easier for me to paint that way. And I like to put a little tiny bit of a yellow into it, because I want to have a little bit of like a more turquoisey. So let's just get a little bit of that in. I like to go kayaking on Lake Tahoe in the summer, and I don't do it nearly as often as I should. It's really, I'm too busy. Every summer, this summer went by, I was not out one single time, and on top of it, I had actually paid for a slip, or a rack where I could put my kayak, so I don't have to transport it back and forth, because that's one of the stumbling blocks why I don't get out there. Do you think I even got my kayak out there? It is just ridiculous. Next year I vow to do better. My excuse this year was that now I'm a grandma, and I've been spending a lot of time in Ogden, Utah, where my little granddaughter is. So want to see her. And this first year, she's a little over 7 months now, and everything goes so fast at that age. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So a little bit more. I want to darken the lake a little bit back here, and I'm just thinking about, to make sure you can see, because you can see how it pulls over the masking fluid. So just make sure I don't get any weird things going on there, blooms and stuff. I am thinking, since I am going to paint this fall scene, and I want to have, I think, a little bit of reflection in the sky, I should get myself one of these mini oranges that I have on this palette. So I've got a little bit of the transparent yellow, which I put in. And let's get a little bit of this orange here. Maybe a little bit more there. Those two. The trees we have here, they're mainly the aspen trees, and they get more kind of yellow-orange. When you see the maples and stuff, those are, planted by people in their gardens and stuff. So let's see, before it dries on me, can I get a few of these down here? Just like that. There. We're just gonna let that be good enough, and then let's flip it over again on the side, and then I am going to take a little bit more of this on my dagger brush, and then I'm going to draw a kind of across some little reflection lines. So just like that, and then hopefully that'll work out. So that was that. And let's see here, a little bit of pooling of water here. Let's just take care of that. So here you can see where the masking is. Alright, so I think I might just take my tissue and just wipe here inside these trunks that I've masked out, just to try and avoid something going on there, and maybe also dab out here. I masked out a little bit of that foliage. So let's see here, what else can we do? Let's use some of our blue we have here and then gray it down with a little bit of that orange. That's a great color, I like it. Let's just go with that. There, nice gray color. Let's get a little color on our mountain here. I'm going to try and not get it. I think this is dry enough actually. I got myself a new light, a new studio light. It's like this big circle that's around my camera now, and I'm hoping that that's going to make for much better lighting for when I film. So we'll see. It meant that I had to kind of change the how I usually have my camera set up. Change that a little bit, but we'll see. Hopefully it's an improvement. That's what I'm hoping. So just giving the mountain here a little bit of gray, and I put a little bit more blue in the bottom part here, just because I felt like it. That's always a good reason. And there's that. So there's that top of that mountain. We are beginning to get a little bit of snow on the tops. I'll try and maybe lift out a little bit here, and if I get a little texture on it, it would be great. But again, I have to remember I'm on this cellulose paper, so you know, can't have too high expectations of what it's going to do. That's what I've learned. Just, you know, as long as I don't expect too much of it, it's fine. As long as I keep that in mind. So then here, I think I'll treat this whole bottom part here, like this part, I think I'll treat that all as one, and then I can kind of give it a little variation. There. And then this part over here, I think I want to give that, let's see, we'll get a little bit more of that royal blue and a little bit more of the orange in there. So let me just put a little bit of this color on here and just like that. Okay. And I might go in and just do a couple of little shadow things here while it's still kind of damp. That might give me some blooms, but I'll just decide to really like them. So here on this whole thing, there are more trees and stuff. So I'm making that a little bit more green. Not too green, because you know, then it comes too much forward, but a little bit of greenish color there, and a little brown in here and there. There's that, and then up here, a little too light green. Put a little bit more blue in there. I like to let the colors mix and mingle on the page. I think that's always a good thing. And then let's put a little bit more of the orange in, a little brown. content here. There we have it. Okay. I'll put a little bit like that in. There. So you can see I'm keeping this very, very loose. And let's just go down here. And there I think I want maybe a little bit more dark greenish color here. I think I have too much water on. Let's get some of that to go away. Just dabbing it up like that. Again, this is just a very loose sketch. Just a little color study, I guess. Value study. And color. Value and color. I really like what happened in that. Looks great. Hopefully we can get this to match. That would be even greater. Alright. Let's take some more of that royal blue and green it up with whatever yellow orange we have left over here. And then I'm going to go in and do, so this is on dry I'm doing now. And I'm happy to see a little fuzzing out. I put a little bit over here also. So indicate some evergreens there. Of course, that's what's there. Evergreens, and they can go. I can put some in here. And some lines like that. Okay. Need to get a little bit more yellow, I think, into that. There. And so I'm just dabbing like this. And then we need some yellow and some orange down here. So I'm just dabbing in some yellow first. And again, that's on dry. Maybe I want to give it a little spritz. There. And then I want to go in and get some of this orange I have here. And get that all the way across here. And I'm going to go up like that too. Okay. And just want to make sure it doesn't go into my bottom there too much. And then I want to go down like this. And some places, especially behind here where I'm going to have some foliage in front, I'm going to go in and break up that orange. It's a bunch of aspen trees and stuff that are here. So just go in and do this. Alright. And again, it's going to turn it over on its side and just get some of this water pigment off. We went a little too far. Let's hold it down like this for just a moment. Might actually go in and dab in a little bit more, just like that. Okay. There we have our background. And then here we can do our foreground. I'm just going to spritz a little bit. And I'm going to go in and do a little bit of that orangey color here. So, you know, dead leaves and stuff. Get the foreground like that. And then let's go in and just dull it down a little bit. Yeah. I like what I see, so I'm gonna do a little bit more. And it's a little darker down here. And there's going to be some little grasses and stuff. There we have it. And it's drying super fast down here. So I'm just going to try and see if I can just spritz in a little bit, maybe get a little texture. And I might even go in. I have a little bit of a Paynes grey here. It's not a colour I use a lot. But there's a time and a place for everything. So let's just go in and just dab a little bit here and there. There we go. I think that's good. And now we got color on everything. I got kind of a weird mark here. And again, there's a paper here it's been lying around in my studio for a long time, so who knows what it's been up to, so to speak. And here I'm getting some nice runbacks. I like that. It does read like water, so you know, I'm just going to let this dry now, and then we're going to take the masking off, and then we're going to paint the trunks and the foliage and those little branches and call it a day. So I think my paper is dry enough that I can take off the masking fluid. So I'm using my rubber cement eraser and I'm gently removing it because, you know, I'm not sure how much abuse this paper can take. So I'm going to try and be a little bit careful. That went very, very quickly and easy. It all came off, no problem. I really, I think this is the best masking fluid I've ever had. And that was the one, you know, I created myself by using this fabric and craft glue speed sew. And then mixing it up with some water, about half-half. And learned from Linda Wild. I want to make sure I give her credit. So I'm going to just remove some of it on that one. That's going to be an aspen tree. So here, you know, some of the golden foliage will be showing on that one. And then the two other trees, I want those to be, those are going to be evergreen trees. So I'm just going to remove the masking on those, but leave the masking on the aspen if I can. That's the plan. So we'll see how it goes. And then also take it off here. There's a little. And did you see how I could just see? I mean, this is just magnificent. Oh, the best. The best. And I didn't even mention that. It's definitely a lot cheaper to make it like that than to buy it. And I have in the past used the PBO and I really liked it in the past. And the last couple of years I have had some little issues with it. And I'm not the only one. I know from talking to other artists that they also had some issues with it staining the paper a little bit. And it changed color. It used to be kind of gray and now it's more like light blue, more brighter blue. And they must have changed the formula, even though I don't think they will fess up to that. But anyway, now I don't have to worry about it because I got the solution. Woohoo! So these here are also going to be orange, but I don't think it's going to be an issue leaving them. So let's get some color on our tree trunks, and here I want to use some of that orange again. I should tell you what that orange is called. That is Winsor orange, by Winsor Newton. So I'll put that up here, over here. You can't see that, it's off camera, but it doesn't matter. I don't think. The palette is so big it won't fit. It won't all fit. I don't think. I'm always afraid of, I try to zoom in as much as I can so you can see what I'm doing, but it's a fine balance because if I zoom in too much, then all of a sudden I'm painting outside of the picture. So it's not that easy, just saying. Okay, so that was the orange, and then for the tree trunks there, that I want them dark, I'm going to take some burnt sienna, and that's, you can't see that. I'm taking burnt sienna, which I have down here. That's why I don't use such a big palette normally for when I'm filming, because it's just not practical. Because if you were to see exactly what I'm doing when I'm mixing the colors and putting them out here, you would be so far removed from my painting that you won't really be able to see what's going on there, and I think that's more important than seeing me getting the colors on the palette. And then the other color I think I would like to use is the Paynes gray. So let's just do that. And I might also get a little bit of the Dyke brown. I never paint with browns like that, and the only brown that I normally paint with is burnt sienna. But since I have this Dyke brown, it's called, the one I have on my palette, and it's exactly same pigment as sepia, and that is pigment brown. PBR 7. No, yeah, PBR 7. PBR 7. All right. I do think I want to put a little tiny bit of water inside the trunk. So we'll just do that. A little bit of water inside here, just to make the colors flow and mingle. I actually think I might as well put it in here too. I can do them both without too much trouble. There we go. And then I'm going to put the burnt sienna down kind of in the middle, like that. I'm not even going to rinse it out. I'm going to put some of that orange on, and I'm going to put that on the sunny side of the trunk here. Turn it upside down. And there we have that color. And rinse my brush out, and then let's put some of the Paynes gray here on the shadow side of the truck. There, and I'm going to put a little bit in like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that Van Dyke brown and put it in also. And while I'm at it, I am going to paint a couple of branches that I masked out. There we go. And I need to put, I feel I need to put a little bit more of that orange on, just because I want to liven up the trucks a little bit. There. There's that. And this is probably already dried. Let's just put some of that orange on the sunny side of this one first, because I kind of lost it last time. So let's try and just put it on first. Put a little bit on the branches there. And then I'm going to put some of the burnt sienna on. Need more water, because this one already dried up. And then let's put some of the Paynes gray on. Paynes gray is another color I don't usually paint with, because I used to. And then I think it was Birgit O'Connor who introduced me to indigo. And so I like indigo a lot better than I like Paynes gray. So I feel the two colors are pretty similar. So I didn't feel the need to have both colors on. And so I switched. And the indigo I like the best is the one from Winsor Newton. And then let's put a little bit of that Van Dyke bright brown on. Here and there. There. Okay. So there are my two trunks in the first go around. And again, we have to remember on this paper there's not going to be a whole lot of glazing. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to do my usual trick, and I'm going to use my credit card and see if I can scrape some of these markings out on them. I really like to do this on my evergreen trunks, because it gives that nice texture, which they have. And you just have to get to it before things dry on you. And we can also scrape in with a couple of the branches so that it looks like they come from, not just from the side of the tree. There. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, see how they, I mean, then, you know, the sun is catching them and stuff. And then down here at the bottom, I never like to have really hard edges. So let's see if we can kind of fuss that out a little bit before it dries too much. So there. I just don't want the viewer's eye to get stuck there. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to run that dark color down. And because they're going to cast a shadow there. Run that up. There. There we have it. That way they're kind of grounded. Let me go down a little bit. There. There. Be a little bit like that too from that one. Can already do it. There. And then I'm going to put some of that dark foliage on that these evergreens have. So there I am going to use probably some of my royal blue together with my Paynes gray, and then I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in. So get a nice evergreen color there. And then I'm using my dagger brush, and I'm just going to do a little bit like that. And over on the other side here. And so you can see this gives like a great evergreen-like texture. So basically I want to cover up most of those white spaces that I had masked out for the foliage. So same here, and I left the masking on the foliage for the aspen trees, so it's going to be great. There we go. I think that's good enough. There. A little bit more down there. Put a little bit more of that Paynes gray in. Make it nice and really dark underneath. There. I think this is good. Don't want to overdo it. Okay. Here we have our evergreen trees. Let's maybe do it a little bit more this way. There. Now I really mean it. Okay. And we have to let that dry. And then we have these bushes here. And let's see, I think if I dab on with my spray bottle here, my dot bottle, a little bit of water and get it out of this trunks here. This goes behind the trunks. Okay. Then I think I need to go to like a round brush, and then I need to go to some more of that Winsor orange and the yellow, and just get some of these colors on, and also get a little bit of the coral red, and I'm just dabbing that in, trying to hit most of those white areas. Can also get a little bit of greenish looking. A bit of red down here. And so I'm going to put the foliage in first before I start putting those little branches in. The branches are going to be dark, and I'm just going to put them in so that, you know, they connect the foliage and look believable, that all that foliage, you know, not floating in midair. And we'll do the same on that foliage that's behind here. Just dab it in, vary the color a little bit more yellow here. It's closer to the light, a little bit darker where it's below. So just make sure you get a nice color variation and just dab it in. Get it in there. And over here too. And some of that yellow. There. And a little bit of the red down here. At the bottom. Okay. That'll do. And then I'll have to let that dry and let me just dab out a couple of places. It's very wet. And hopefully that'll read nicely, like, you know, dab of light on these leaves that have turned. Just want to dab in a little bit of that brilliant yellow. There. So I took the masking off the last trunk there that I'm going to make into an aspen trunk. And I'm just going to use some sort of a grayish color that I'm going to mix from what I have here in my palette. So that'll be a little back and forth. There. A little bit more red in it. A little bit more blue. Blah, blah, blah. Back and forth. There. Very, very light. Just going to put a little bit of that on the shadow side of the tree trunk. Just here and there. And rinse my brush out. Before it dries on me, I want to just spread it around so that it's a little bit darker on that side. Be a little darker down here. And dab out if it got, I thought, got a little dark. That's okay. Okay, so that was step one. And then step two, we're going to make a real dark color. So I can just use the puddles I already have, and it's Paynes gray here. It's probably going to be ideal. Gray it down a little bit, warm it up a little bit with that burnt sienna I have here. Dab. It's dark enough. Let's see if we can get these markings in. So it's going to be dry brushing. On this paper it's not that easy because it doesn't have much texture, but we're going to do the best we can. Just a little bit here. Just to say that it's an aspen. We need some of these markings in. There. Now that I can go back down here and do some better ones. It's usually a lot right at the bottom of the tree. There. I think this is about right. There. That says aspen. At least it does to me. And then there's, we can use that same color. And just with the tip of our brush, let's go in, get some branches going. The branches on these aspen trees, they usually look dark. And Get some of those in. And we can get some more once we have the foliage as needed. Okay. And with my brush out. And then I am going to use my orange and my yellow again, my Winsor orange. Have that here. Need some more of that over here. And mix it up with some of the yellow. And I think I'll go in and do like I did before. I kind of like to get the little spritzes on. It kind of gives a little bit more of a random texture, I feel. Big fan of using the dot bottle. Make sure some of this foliage goes across the trunk, because that's how they do this. Let's get some of that orange on here. Get some of those white spots. And because of the paper, you know, I can see some of the green is lifting. That's okay. I'll deal. And there's a little bit of that all the way over here. There we go. If I hadn't used the Sterling Edwards palette, I could have used some of that new Aussie Gold that I bought not too long ago. Let's get some. Yes, and I think I want a little bit more just yellow here on the sunny side. A little bit more orange down here. There we have it. I think we're pretty good. Again, oh yeah, we needed to get some down here. Forgot about that. The bushes there. Some of them are in front. And then we need to get the dark. Put some of that same color in here. A couple places. And then get a little bit more yellow. There. So we need to get those bushes, our little bushes. They need some little twigs and trunks and whatnot. Twigs, I guess. And so I'm just going into my dark colors here. And I'm using a wiggle brush and I'm just kind of wiggling those in. And again, don't want to make them like too perfect or anything like that. So just for a little texture, I'm just going to use whatever I have left over here of my darks, my Paynes grey, my Dyke brown, and there we go. Maybe a little too dark. A little too fat. And here. Up here. So just so that it looks believable that all these clumps of foliage are being supported. And I like to run it in actually when things are still a little wet so that I don't get those hard edge stops, because they don't really look all that great. There we go. Again, this is just a little sketchy sketch, so I'm not going to get overly fussy with this. There we go. And then we should, for good measure, we should put a few little shadowy things, magics there. And I don't want it too hard edge, so let me just soften that. Just like that. And a little bit more like just like that. Dabbled light. And then if I don't know what else to do and I find things are a little too I just give it a little spray. That's my solution. There. I can live with that. Fun, quick little sketch. Nothing too overly involved. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed this little quick demo of a watercolor sketch on my little watercolor block here with a crappy paper, and hopefully this will turn into a quote-unquote real painting. And you can check out my Instagram, Eva Nichols Kunst, and follow me there, and then you can see when I have other paintings posted, and when I post this one in the on the real watercolor paper. That should probably happen here in a few weeks, but it'd be great if you'd follow me, and until I see you in another YouTube video, happy painting!